Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we are going to analyze the ETH-BTC pair. None of the content is financial advice. Right now, the ETH-BTC valuation is less than 0.03. It's at 0.028. From the monthly candles, what is the next level to watch for? Again, not financial advice. If there is a higher low on this one, like ETH enjoyed that higher low for on BTC in 2021. I know the timelines per the market cycle theory do not quite align that well, but if you were to focus on some of the macro higher lows that ETH has had on like let's draw it like this, maybe the initial lows on this pair that do not mean much, as ETH was relatively a newer asset back then. But still, if even if you go by this logic, again the trend line has broken, and at a monthly level trying to join as many points as possible over here on that higher low structure that ETH had. This got broken down in November 2024, December 2024 time period, and then in the August rally of 2025, when ETH went close to $5,000, this level again acted as a resistance. So that's one challenge for ETH in the long term to contend with. Before it comes to that, there are some key levels for ETH BTC bottom that needs to be discussed. Again, this is the horizon. This is not the horizontal level, but again, if you look at the horizontal levels of some key importance, again from cycle to cycle, it's not exactly horizontal, but it's like a range where ETH BTC did bottom in both uh, the instances. Again, back then the bottom was at 0.17. This time around the bottom for ETH was at 0.18, so slightly higher than 2020 sorry, 2019 bottom over here, 2019 to 2020 bottom, and then back in 2025. So ETH bottoms against BTC, not in the bear, again the typical bear market year, but an year following that. This time around, the ETH BTC bottom came in first in 2016, which was not the bear market year, then again in 2019, and then in 2025. So if there is a double bottom over here, then the drop in that valuation per this analysis could take the price of ETH, if I ever find that. Yeah. So this one is still about 35% lower than the current valuation. Right now, the price of ETH, you can see, is at around $1,900, and price of BTC is at around $67,000. So that's why the valuation is in fractions. If we look at the valuations from this is the ETH BTC, and same valuation at, instead of monthly level, this is at weekly level, and looking at the 200 week and the 300 week simple moving average, the white line which turns blue when the price is above the 200 week, or the valuation of ETH to BTC is about 200 week simple moving average, typically in the bull market years, and in the bear market or bearish trajectory for ETH, this blue line turns white when the valuation turns in favor of Bitcoin. The 300 week simple moving average, which is green when the price is up, or the valuation of ETH is above the 300 week, now it's in the red color. Both the lines are at almost the same level. The 200 week and the 300 week valuation for ETH BTC pair is at around 0.05. I would imagine that this level would eventually be taken out in the bullish phases of the asset class. By that, what in terms of whole number, it means that one Bitcoin would fetch 20 ETH, instead of right now it fetches more than that. In terms of, this is just a reversal of that price action. I guess this is 1 divided by ETH BTC. You would see that right now, one Bitcoin fetches about 33 to 34 ETH. If it were to go back to the levels of that 200 week, 300 week, then the in let's say euphoria phases of the bull run, where ETH takes the center stage, like it did back in again back in August of 2025, when the price or the valuation came close to the 300 week simple moving average. Back then, the 300 week simple moving average was at around 24 ETH per BTC. If it now goes to 22 ETH per BTC, that could be again as projected in 2028, 2029. If you draw this one out, one BTC could fetch 20 ETH instead of 34 ETH, which is right now right now is a valuation in favor of Bitcoin. If we look at the Fibonacci levels, this is the ETHBTC chart again. The double bottom that ETH had against uh, BTC back in April 2025 could come into play per this analysis. And again, this double bottom was slightly of a higher valuation than the double bottom previously achieved in between September 2019 and December 2019. So where the price of these portfolio, again, this is the efficient frontier, where ETH is slightly outside of the efficient frontier, that is not in, like, ETH has moved away from the gem zone since 2021, whereas Bitcoin is holding its own, and again, it's the least volatile crypto of the asset class, leader of the asset class. In terms of where this could go, um the pair ETH-BTC pair, again, as a forecast, is available over here. These are the older candles, and these need to be, again, as of 2022, sorry, 2024 ETH. These are the technical levels where at that point as well ETH-BTC pair was in favor of Bitcoin. Not much has changed since then, but if you look at the forecast graph, you could see that this is the ETH-BTC forecast using machine learning techniques. If the seasonality for Bitcoin is favorable for, let's say, till end of May, and if the drop is sustainable till end of May, that's where ETH could bottom against Bitcoin, at least put a double bottom against Bitcoin for this market cycle, and starting June, ETH could start looking more attractive than Bitcoin uh, towards the end of that bear market. So in the last bear market, what happened in 2022? The first major drop for ETH BTC came in early on in the bear market, when ETH dropped quite a bit to that 0.05 level, and then there was major counter trend rally during the ETH merge rally, and then it took more than 1 year, almost the end of bear market, and again the recovery of the asset class for ETH to go lower than the 2022 low for ETH BTC pair. So that's something that could happen. Again, not financial advice. And in the bull run, or let's say in the euphoria phases of the bull run, the valuation for ETH BTC could go as low as or as high in terms of ETH as 0.06 instead of a 0.5 ceiling that we estimate. And if the valuation goes above 0.05, that's where the amount of ETH available for one BTC is 20. If it goes to 0.06, then at that valuation, you can see over here, when ETH BTC was at 0.06 back in, let's say, over here in February 2024. If you go one over ETH BTC and look at the same time period, February 2024, then the number of ETH available for one BTC is at around 16. So that's and let's say if this coincides well with Bitcoin topping out in the next bull run at around 200k, just an estimation, then ETH BTC at if it's at 16, so then that's how price of ETH could go about 10k at that level. With that, I would like to conclude by saying, right now the ETH BTC pair, if you look at the SMA risk of both ETH and BTC, right now this is Bitcoin and Bitcoin SMA risk. I just hide the Bitcoin price and add the ETH risk. What you can see is that ETH risk right now is lower than BTC risk, as ETH has dropped quite a bit on its 20-week simple moving average. But when both ETH and BTC are in this less than zero point 0.2 risk level, or you can say when both of them are in the lowest or accumulation phase, that's where the bear market comes to a essential conclusion. Again, there is no model which can get it right, but last time around in June July 2022, both of them had a bottom. This time again, when ETH goes down, BTC takes over, and when ETH, ETH BTC signs, then ETH again takes over the market like it did back in June July 2025. This is the top detector, the bottom detector, or the trailing z score uh, based model to identify the bottom detector using the z score of standard deviations to normalize finding bottom in the bear market. Right now, again, BTC bottom is per this model is very close. An ETH bottom or ETH based risk is slightly elevated. So um, the bottom for ETH is not in per this model. And if you wanted to normalize all of these behavior in just one single metric, the ETH risk is at around 0.15. The BTC risk is also at around 0.1516. For context, in April 2025, ETH risk was at around 0.03. At that same time, BTC risk was at 0.38. So that was the gap. And then when ETH took over, thanks to that gap, then ETH finally went to 5. Okay. Whereas in 2022, you can see during June 2022, drop both ETH and BTC as a composite average were less than 0.2 or less than 2% risk. At this point, they are at around 15% risk. So that's the risk that the market presents. If, let's say, BTC and ETH were to bottom for this market cycle at the targets that are again the bear market targets for um, BTC, which again still could go as low as about 40% drop from over here. ETH, relatively speaking, has dropped a lot, so ETH drop could be far less severe per these models at around $1,800 drop. Again, the worst case scenario for ETH is at around $1,500, and ETH's worst case scenario is more likely to occur than Bitcoin's worst case scenario for all intensive purposes. And if from there, from that bottom, if there is a bull run ahead of us, uh, ETH bull case target, as mentioned previously, for the next bull run are about 10k, and the midpoint is at around 14k, which is about, from the current price, about 6x to 7x. If the price of ETH were to bottom at $1,500, then it could be somewhere between 8x and 10x from that peak to low, peak to high. And Bitcoin, again, similarly, the lowest estimation for Bitcoin's bull run is between 155k to 225k. The 225k is the midpoint. The high part of the range is at around 260k. With that, all in all, the ETH BTC pair still has to do that double bottom kind of a trajectory. If that happens early on in, let's say, between now and May 2026, that then like 4 years prior to this, like there was a rally in starting June 2022 till, let's say, end of September 2022. Something similar could happen one more time, where the price goes fine, or the valuation of ETH goes to the highs of August 2025. With that, I would like to conclude. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.